Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and this is my 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback in all-wheel drive. I bought it on August 13th, 2020 with just over 3,000 miles on it, and it currently has just over 38,000 miles on it. So I'll be updating you guys on everything that's happened since the last update video I did at 25,000 miles. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It'll be at the end or linked up in one of those like little bar things. Now, before I actually fully get into it, I want to make something super clear. I love this car wholeheartedly. It's the best car I've ever owned. I'm not complaining about these things, I'm just pointing them out. Would I trade this for a new model? No. Would I trade it for most other things on the market right now? No. I love this car, and the only reason it might seem like there are a lot of issues is because I've driven this car a lot, and I've spent days, nights, rain, cold, snow. I've spent a ton of time in here. So I just want that to be clear, because on the last video, some people were like, oh, he's just complaining about the car. I'm just pointing things out. I love this car more than most people in my life. So yeah. So to start off with the issues I've had in the last 10,000 miles, we got to talk about the wheels again. I feel like we're always talking about the wheels or brakes with this car. Last video, I hit a pothole in Denver and I got a bubble in my sidewall and had to get 4 new tires. This time in Sweet Home, Illinois, I hit a pothole and bent my wheel. And the reason I bring this up, I know that that's my fault for hitting a pothole. It was late at night and I couldn't see it. The reason I bring it up is because I'll probably switch out wheels for this car. Probably for a winter setup, I'm looking to get some BlizzX tires, something, really, really nice for the winter. And I'm probably going to go with a smaller wheel so I can fit a larger sidewall. This tire is a 225/45 R18. Because the wheel's so big, it has thinner sidewall tires. So I'm gonna get something a little bit beefier so when I do hit these terrible Illinois roads, hopefully I won't bend a wheel as easily. To replace the wheel was about $530 for a brand new unit from Mazda. And I talked to my insurance company, and that's an at-fault accident, according to State Farm. So I did not file a claim because my rates would have gone up. So if you're looking for new wheels and you're gonna daily drive this car, road trip it, things like that, I'd highly recommend going down to like a 17 or a 16. A lot of other Mazda 3s have had 16-inch wheels. I'll probably get a set of those from the previous 3rd generation Mazda 3 with some beefier sidewalls to hopefully combat and stop having so many wheel issues. Along with that, when I got that wheel replaced, about a week later, the car yelled at me for the first time for low tire pressure. I was up in Wisconsin, about 4 hours from home, which is never a great feeling. Took it to a local tire shop and they filled up all 4 tires for me. It was a little bit low, but it ended up being fine and I've never had that issue come back, which is good. So now let's talk about the front end of the vehicle. And let's start down here with the radar cruise control. A little bit of good news. Mazda actually updated their radar cruise control and made it available for older vehicles like this. 2019 is 2 model years out of date now, but they still updated the cruise control. It's a lot less jerky when someone pulls out in front of you. It doesn't fly up to cars anymore and like ride their bumper if you have the lowest setting on. It's a lot smoother. So they did update the radar cruise, which is fantastic. And the dealership did it without me even asking. But now let's talk about the engine real quick. Again, good news. One, I've been getting about 30 miles to the gallon average. That's a lot of highway driving with some city in between, but mostly highway. About 30 miles to the gallon average. This is the non-turbo 2.5 liter from Mazda, Skyactiv G. And that's important because I actually talked to someone who works at Mazda, works on Mazdas, and they said that the 2.5 liter has been a really solid engine. They haven't had too many cars come in with engine issues. Of course, besides the random guy that has gone 15,000 miles between oil changes, they haven't had too many issues with the actual 2.5 liters. However, they have had a number of Mazda 3 hatches come in, the 2.5 turbos, with some engine issues. So Mazda's 2.5 turbo starting to stack up. It's not looking great. The CX-9 is having some issues as well, and the CX-5 with the 2.5 turbo. Less the Mazda 3s, more the CX-5 and CX-9s are actually having issues. But it's really good to hear from someone who works on them daily that these 2.5 liters are really, really stout, and he said as long as you keep up with good maintenance, they'll run for quite a while. Now, at around 30,000 miles, I did do the engine air filter, cabin air filter, and a fuel injection system flush, which is good to do because these are direct injection engines. It's something you should do between 25 to 35,000 miles just to clean it out, clean out carbon deposits and things like that. I thought I was being oversold, but I actually did my own research, talked to a couple people in the industry, and they said it's actually a good idea to do. It's like 150, 200 bucks. They'll start pushing it on you at about 15,000 miles, but you can wait till about 25,000, and it's good to keep up with it. But getting back to the engine air filter and the cabin air filter, more specifically the cabin air filter, I thought, I'm a car guy. I've motor swapped 13Bs into 12A chassis RX-7s. I've done that before. I can do a little air filter swap for the cabin air, and it's actually easy. It's just some tabs inside of the glove box. However, they're actually VIN specific. So I went to O'Reilly's and picked one up. It was way too long, not wide enough, and didn't fit. So if you want to do it yourself, be sure to type in your specific VIN number because it actually varies. Even if it's both two 2019 Mazda 3s, they might have different cabin air filters depending on where they were built, either Japan or Mexico, and dependent on VIN number. So keep that in mind. Of course, I have to say it every single video, if you are buying a brand new Mazda, please get the front treated with some type of clear bra or something because Mazda paint is super thin, and every time I look at it, it still gets more rock chips. I've said it in my 10,000 mile update, my 25,000 mile update, and now my 35,000 mile update. I keep getting more rock chips. Mazda use super thin paint, and it's really hard to color match, so if you can protect it, please do. And now to finish out, we got to talk about the side of the car, and that is the window trim and the key. First of all, we'll start off with the window trim. Now, this was actually an issue back in my 25,000 mile update, but I didn't realize it was an issue. The corner up here, this window trim piece and this window trim piece were actually catching on each other and slowly tearing. I thought it was just, you know, whatever, but it kept getting progressively worse and worse. Here's a video of what it looked like before I brought it in. Now, luckily, I caught it before this car's 36,000 mile factory warranty, bumper to bumper. So I caught it right before then, brought it in, and it actually took about 2 months for them to get parts. There's about 15 different parts that go into the window seals, and they have to do everything at once. But now these window seals are fine. Like I said, they were just hitting each other, which seems to be a pretty common issue for these cars. They're just assembled in that sort of way. They slip in shipping, whatever it might be. So definitely look at that before you hit your 36,000 miles. Like I said, it did take them a day and a half. I got a CX-5 Turbo as a loaner car, which was fun, but you know, I didn't have my car for almost 2 whole days because of that. It's a long job and it's a lot of pieces, but it was done for free under warranty. The last thing and most recent issue I've had with the car was I was actually down in Tennessee, about 800 miles from home, and I got in the car. It was a very foggy morning. That's kind of important. And it gave me this warning: key malfunction, please talk to the dealer, or please get vehicle service. I forget the proper wording at the moment, but that's not the point. It was a key malfunction. I went on the forums and some people said that it was a low key battery, but that actually has its own warning. So I got in the car. It drove normally. It drove fine. I actually drove it an hour and a half to go film another car review. And when I got to the car review, it was still telling me key warning, key warning, key warning, whatever, or key malfunction. And I got out, I filmed the car in Tennessee, got back in my car, it never came back ever again. My hypothesis is the sensors in one of the doors was either full of condensation, or because it was so foggy and the weather was so weird. I've never seen fog so dense in my life. Maybe it didn't detect, maybe one of the outside sensors wasn't detecting. I don't know what the issue was. But through this, I actually learned that you can call your Mazda dealer, and if you have a connected vehicle like this, I have the phone app where I can start it and lock it and things like that. If I have a connected Mazda vehicle, I can actually call the dealership and say, hey, my car's doing this, and they can actually tap in from the dealership and figure out what warning is currently happening on my car. It's like a live stream to their computer to tell them what's wrong, and they can sort of walk me through that, say, hey, pull over right now, or that's not an issue, bring it in when you can. So that's super nice. I did learn that in that experience. But again, like I said, that warning never came back. So there it is. That's what has gone wrong in the last 10,000 miles of ownership on this car. We're now at 38,000 miles. We have blown through the first factory warranty from Mazda. I believe the next one's at 65,000 miles, which we are quickly approaching. Like I said at the top of the video, I love this car to death. I would not trade it for the world. I took it on the tail of the dragon down in Tennessee/North Carolina. This car kept up beautifully, kept up almost with a Audi S4, a supercharged 3-liter V6 in the corners. This thing actually held its own really well. Automatic transmission did really well, and I didn't have a single issue with it on the tail of the dragon, besides a little bit of brake fade towards the end, but it's the tail, it's gonna happen. So really, really great there. I've been absolutely loving this car. I've taken it to a bunch of states. I use it every day for work, and honestly, I'm so happy with my purchase. Especially now hearing about the turbo motors having issues. I'm glad I went with the non-turbo. I was on the fence, and I think I chose the right one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys at 50,000 miles. Take care.